Coming up next, pros and cons of realism tattoos from a tattoo artist. Hi guys, welcome to our show. This is episode 2. For those of you who don't know, my name is Westley. I am a tattoo artist in Des Moines, Iowa at Skin Kitchen Tattoo. I have been tattooing since 2006. I don't have a particular style that I like to focus on specifically. It evolves each year. I like to do a bunch of different styles, and I like to try to dabble in as many different things as I can. So without further talking too much about myself, we'll start jumping right into the pros and cons of realism tattoos. If you're thinking about getting a realism tattoo, a photorealistic tattoo, some of the pros, the disadvantages, and advantages to having them. So we'll start off with the advantages of realism tattoos right for the beginning. I know if you're thinking about them, there's some really cool things about them. First off is that they are stunning. They're oftentimes the showstopper in the room. They're very high detailed. People notice it, so that's a really cool thing about photorealistic tattoos. You don't find a lot of other people with that same tattoo. Depends on what you get. Celebrity portraits maybe, but family portraits, certain, whatever object it might be in the world, you don't find a lot of people that are going to have the exact same thing as you. So those are some really good advantages because of that. They're often very sentimental. You have family portraits, relatives that you're going to get tattooed on you, or maybe it's a tribute to a celebrity or somebody who was important to you indirectly. Those are just another good set there. They heal generally pretty quickly. The techniques used in realistic tattoos are often very soft-handed techniques. And so, especially with the equipment that we're using nowadays, things heal a lot softer, a lot easier, and better on the skin. So that's a really nice thing for realism tattoos also. They kind of come with that little added bonus. But there are some downsides to realism tattoos also. Mainly is that they'll fade, they'll lose that luster. Not to say that you're going to lose color or that they're going to have chunks or anything missing out of it or anything like that. But they're under the skin. They are going to look beautiful for a while, but over time your skin, as we're humans, they fade, and they're going to lose a lot of the very high-end details. Just depending on the artist and how detailed they can get with them, and you'll find there are smaller pools of artists that get more and more detailed the higher resolution you're looking for in a tattoo. But that higher resolution is going to fade and lose its luster over the years. So that's kind of a disadvantage of realism tattoos, is they're not going to look good forever. But I mean, they will look good forever, but they're not going to look 100% forever. They're usually pretty costly too because of that high detail. It takes longer. Again, at least it's not a super painful technique like we discussed before, but it does take longer to do a tattoo like that because we're working slowly to get all of those colors to gradually shade the way they're supposed to make the time to get those tiny details in there so everything looks perfect. So those are just some basic disadvantages real quickly there. Again, like I said, the higher detail that you want to get up into, you're going to find smaller and smaller pools of artists that can pull that off. Myself, only at a medium level. I have no problem saying there are artists out there that are great, but they're going to charge you a little bit more because of that. So be prepared for that, for those really high-end photorealism tattoos. If somebody says they can do really high-end realism, check their portfolios. Ask them to show you some examples of their work. That's always a good key piece of advice. Another disadvantage, family portraits, again, goes back to those details. It's often a good idea to bring in, multiple photos of people so you can get different angles of them so we can tell some of those high-end details. A dimple in the cheek versus a freckle on the cheek sometimes is a helpful thing by knowing for them. So you have to watch out for some pitfalls sometimes on family portraits, celebrity portraits, things like that too. But otherwise, they are amazing pieces to get. So if you're thinking about getting one, I definitely suggest you stop into some of your local tattoo shops and check in support portfolios and see who can do what. But they're great pieces. So I think that wraps up some pros and cons of realism tattoos. I hope this episode was very informative for you guys. If you have any questions about it, down in the comments, please leave a questions. If I haven't covered something, feel free to shout out there, and I'll see if I can include it in future episodes of what we're doing. If you enjoyed it, please give us a thumbs up and click our subscription button. And also, we have a store for our t-shirts and stuff if you'd like to check that out. But in the future, look for some upcoming episodes that we're going to keep doing. And I hope you guys enjoyed this one.